but maybe we first hold recording until the effective meeting starts. Avoid losing some storage. But you will kind of remind when we start.
That is correct.
Okay.
That is correct.
It's okay.
So
Okay.
I suggest that one of us does the moderation.
Okay.
Well, I know I've seen Nono here, for example. And
yeah, that's okay. I think let's proceed. Good evening, ladies, and I think one lady and gentlemen. Yeah, Donald Kugonza is my name. I welcome you all this evening. We are 25 minutes late. Sorry. I'm standing in for the chair, who is will be joining us. I'm secretary for the union. Within the room, there are other executive members. I think maybe for the sake of our visitors, the executive members can introduce themselves, and then we proceed. So thank you very much, Hortifresh, for accepting to come to talk to us. It is one very important event we have today because the union wants to understand more about Hortifresh so that it can make certain informed decisions. And your invitation was given at a short notice, but thanks for accepting to come and be with us today and tell us more about Hortifresh. So members of the executive kindly talk, as well as I think our technical officers, so that we can proceed. Thank you.
Thank you, Lawrence. My name is Walter Nono. I'm the treasurer. Thank you.
Yes, good evening. My name is Onento Godfrey. I'm the vice chairperson.
Yeah, I think technical official has dropped out, Georgina, but I had her mention your names, so I think she knows you already. So members, I think we can proceed to have the Hortifresh team talk to us. Since it was a meeting called specifically for one agenda item, and that was here from Hortifresh. It is a special meeting of the board, and the reason really was it is an extraordinary meeting. So we had only one agenda item. I think it is formal that we pray. There will be no other, I think, agenda items. But when the chairman comes, he may make some communication. Okay, so I think let's have a prayer probably from our only technical officer in the room. Georgina, can you pray for us so that we can proceed?
Yes, let's pray. Oh Lord Father, we thank you for this evening. We thank you for this day. We thank you for everything you have provided for us. We surrender this meeting into your presence. Let all the discussions be of good conduct, Lord. All the discussions may be good to us. And we pray all this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much. So I hand over to Hortifresh team. I think Peter and Frederick, you'll decide the order in which you come in. Thank you. Over to you.
Yeah. Let me first introduce. I'm Aganiro Frederick. I work with the Hortifresh as an agronomist and a compliance officer in the compliance department, and as well as membership. Majorly, I work with mobilizing farmer groups to join the cause, to improve our export volumes, and to initiate them into the export process, to know about how much more we do. Yeah, on this call, I have my colleague, he will introduce himself. We are happy to be here, and we are happy to hear from you. We'll be ready to answer all your questions, your concerns. We'll be ready to address them. Thank you. Garang, you can come in.
Okay. I prefer to keep my video on since it is, I believe it's first time that I'm meeting some of you. My name is Peter Garang. I'm an agronomist by training and a manager by training also, because I'm also doing my MBA and also practicing it. Where do I start in the introduction? Okay, I've started with my name. I've been working in agricultural sector for 13 years now, from a junior agronomist to managing big projects, and then to Hortifresh. And currently in Hortifresh, I'm 1 year and 5 months. I've been managing Hortifresh project in the north and here in the central since June. And in main office, I'm dealing with project development and also helping in part of agronomy and compliance. Since I'm already an agronomist by training, is something I cannot leave behind. I always have to move with it. So basically, the reason I'm here is this morning I got informed by the ED, that is none other than Fred Zake, that he want me to attend this meeting and deliver his apologies for not making it for this meeting, but he emphasized that I must make sure this meeting happen. That shows how important it is that this meeting must happen and the value that avocado cooperative bring to the sector. So precisely that is me, and apologies from the ED. Thank you.
I think we should get into the purpose of the meeting. The communication we got from the chairperson through our ED was like, we would like to meet you so that you can explain more what Hortifresh is and what you do and how Hortifresh can be of help to AvoCoop. So I think, who is that? Their microphone is not muted. Okay, so right away, Garang, you can take us through what Hortifresh does. Then we'll be able to hear from you your concerns, your questions, your additions, your minuses, so that we move on and we'll be ready to address. In case anything is not completed here, of course we can as well follow up. So Garang, we prepared a simple presentation for you people, specifically for AvoCoop, and we would love to really exchange ideas. We believe we are not perfect in this, so we are ready to learn from you and how best we can organize this. This is coming in a moment that we have a program that is really is a serious one, and it is coming up, and we would love AvoCoop or any avocado farmer not to miss out, because it is really good. We believe it is really good for you people, for our farmers, and even for Uganda as large. So Garang, you can start from there. Yeah. Garang.
So I have
Yes.
given him the host rights. You can proceed.
Yeah, I've seen.
If you want to share. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. It's my first time meeting you, and I believe this meeting is going to be one of the best. I like when we are talking about the issues happening, the problems. Are you guys seeing my screen?
Yes, I'm seeing it.
Okay. Okay. Okay, you are all aware that Hortifresh Association is an affects body for fresh fruits and vegetables. If there's somehow you are not hearing me, then you'll have to interject while I'm presenting. Hortifresh Association was registered in 2019 and started operations when the secretariat was put in place in 2021. And in that year of 2021 is when Zake was put in place as the ED, and then we have been moving on from there in the midst of COVID-19. Basically, the reason Hortifresh was formed was to tackle the issues that Uganda is dealing with, especially on the part of fresh fruits and vegetables. Considering the volumes and the demand and the need to have income increase or the earning from the export of fresh fruits and vegetables, a sector which was a bit scattered had to be brought into one place to speak one voice and one interest, which is none other than producing safe quality produce which can take us to the export market. We are all aware of the landscape of agriculture in Uganda, with the GDP of 46.4 billion, which is of Uganda now, and the population is going up. I don't know what is the latest population, but previously Uganda was 45.5 million in population. Agriculture contributes 24% to the GDP, and largely depends on the labor which the population provide, giving up to 70% of the land of the labor. Now, Uganda has a very fertile land, and up to 80% is an arable land. Actually, previously in the three-state East Africa, Uganda had like 60% of the arable land of the whole East Africa in Uganda. That shows how good Uganda is blessed. Now, in East Africa, we are all aware that Uganda is the largest producer of fresh fruits and vegetables. But then that production doesn't go to export all. We are actually behind Kenya and Tanzania when it comes to export, and we are number one when it comes to production of fresh fruits and vegetables. That explains a lot of where our problem lies. Is either we are eating everything or we are losing much in order to lag behind in terms of export. Say it this way, it is known that we lose up to 40% at the first harvest level, which is one of the biggest problems. Number two, we had a lot of challenges that contribute to that much. And recently there was a certain study done by CASA with Hortifresh. And on my screen, I hope you are still seeing, we have many challenges, and one of them, which I've just mentioned, is a lack of cold chain storage, which contribute at the end to poor storage and then ultimately lost at first harvest. The volumes of export are low, which doesn't meet the market. So consistency when it comes to export is another problem. We have high freight charges, which are expensive. The export quality that we're exporting is not meeting the standards. Sometimes we have been receiving a lot of interception, which of course now is reducing a bit. As much as many organizations are trying to do training, it still is not enough, or is either the absorption or the knowledge that is being imparted is not received well by the people who are supposed to receive and translate it into the skills which are supposed to be executed at the field level. And so many of these challenges that we have. While Hortifresh has been on, we have realized that in one way or the other, there had been improvement in the growth of the sector. In 2021, the sector was, fresh fruits and vegetables was bringing in 136 million. That was in 2021, 2022. By 2023, it has reached about 250 million. That shows a short-term growth of like 82%. It means that we are heading toward the right direction. I may not say it's solely because of Hortifresh, but I believe Hortifresh has a hand in this, considering the advocacy and the push so that people all work together as one people in ensuring that the sector goes forward. Now, what is Hortifresh, or who is this Hortifresh? In my previous start, Hortifresh is a membership organization for fresh fruits and vegetables subsector. At current stand, we are standing at 229 members. Largely 200 are exporters. And then we have producers and about 16 associate members. Now, the associate members are organizations or companies that deliver support services. These are input service providers, can be consultant, and any other service provider for the sector. They support the sector to make things happen. So likely they bring in inputs. Now, Hortifresh is driven by a vision of seeing a horticulture sector that produces and sells safe and good quality fresh fruits and vegetables. And our mission is mainly to build the capacity of fresh fruits and vegetables value chain players to meet safety, quality, and market requirement. I started earlier on how it was formed. You can see in 2019 is when the registration was done. Secretariat set up in 2021. And then what we call the Kavira Club Declaration, which brought 5 fresh fruits and vegetable organizations under one roof, then endorsed by government of Uganda as associate, as an affects body in July 2021, and then officially launched in November 2021. In 2023, as I introduced myself before, as the one who was running a project in Gulu and managing Gulu or the Northern Office, Hortifresh set up a satellite office in January 2023 in Gulu. And by the time we had 225, the number has increased recently to 229, with over 100,000 small holder farmers, which I believe up to this time must have increased because it keeps on increasing as more people come in increasing. The other part is that our capacity has grown every year. And so far I can boast that we have a multi-skilled a team which is running this secretariat now. In 2024, we became the sitting office for COMESA East Africa Uganda, which is intended to accelerate the operation of COMESA in both East and South Africa. What we are doing currently revolve around market development. This is our focus: membership development, sector development, and organizational development. Now, these activities come into what we call our value proposition. When you look at our value proposition, things that we believe our members are benefiting from when they join Hortifresh is that we do membership training and capacity building, as indicated by our mission. We also do market linkages. We bring in market information, market intelligence on what is needed for the value chains. Our lobbying and advocacy team runs the front line of advocacy, linking us to various organizations and the government. One example is the policy review, which we are working on now, supported by Hortimap. We have issues of access to business and financial solutions. These come in forms of the business development services that we give to other organizations. An example is what we are doing with Uganda Grain Council that have asked for our help, and we are doing that. We so much support part of quality assurance and standards. With our help of others like Poliet, we every time link up with the bodies of standard. In what has happened, I've mentioned we We started from small projects, and one of the projects was a project we had in northern Uganda, where we implemented a sub-powered project with TechnoSub, funded by ABI, which work in 8 districts and working with over 1,500 fresh fruits and vegetable farmers. Our main purpose there was linking the farmers to the market in South Sudan, within, and even in Kenya. And the other thing which came up from that project is that we set up a digital platform. It was not complete, but at least it has shown us what the technology is supposed to do in terms of promoting the FFV sector. We are doing a kind of an expansion project of that now with the US aid, which is supposed to link farmers, the exporters, and other projects, including the Rush project. Now, like we said, Hortifresh is now almost 3 years, and the projects we have been implementing are small budget projects. The one we did with TechnoSub was $50,000. The one we did with GIZ also was the same range, $50,000, looking at causes of interception and trying to address them. And as we speak, we have projects that we are working on, and I call it as things we are planning to do because they are not yet in our pockets, or let's say in our hand as a project. I remember one time I had someone said that Monkey believed that you don't call something yours until when it is in your mouth. But even when it is in your mouth, if you have not swallowed, it's still not yours. So we have projects we are pursuing. We are pursuing a project with Uganda Exim. The Uganda Exim Bank, we are looking at issues to do with the solving the issue of financial access solutions, so that we at least can give credit to Hortifresh members and the sector players. We are working on a project with the EU, which is supposed to look at issues of compliance and certification. It is in a form of infrastructure, which is a center of excellence. That's how we call it, going to be located in Entebbe. We are looking at issues of regional center of excellence, because if you have one big state-of-the-art center of excellence or a pack house in Entebbe, the structure is supposed to be fed with volumes of produce from regions or from nearby nucleus farm. And that support will come in forms of the volumes. And in order to get the volume, you need to support the production, and also need to have mini center of excellences at the regional level. This will come with a support from Trademark Africa, and also part of the EU project budget is going to support production also. When I talk of compliance and certification, I need to emphasize much on in these two projects. They come with a support that is supposed to be given to farmers, or say the producers, so that they get global gap certification. Is something we are looking forward. Is one of the hindrance factors to why we are not exporting much. I can tell you point blank, Uganda has less than 5 global gap certified exporters or farmers in Uganda. And out of those, I can say 3 or 2 are from Hortifresh. But how do we compete in the market if the minimum certification we cannot achieve? Some of the reason we may not have it is, one, global gap certification is done per value chain. If you are an exporter of chili, you get global gap certification on chili. But then it comes at cost. The minimum is about $5,000, but the others which go up to $10,000, because it's dependent on number of farmers you have that have to be certified and be visited by the auditor as a process of certification. And of course, the testing. In order to be global gap certified, you have to be subjected to test in terms of the water, the soil, and the MRLs. So this is something we have to take it on by the horn. Comparing to Kenya, Kenya has more than, Kenya doubles us almost 20 times or 25 times when it comes to global gap certification. And this is the minimal. The others like fair trade, the others like the organic or other social classes which create other certifications also in order to sell at the premium market or the supermarket level. We are also working with the Swiss Contact to support the digitization. This is where the Rush project came in. The other projects we are trying to follow up, including the STDF projects, is also has to support the compliance. When we talk of EU project, there's also another project called SAFE, which is targeting Middle East. EU project is targeting EU market, while SAFE project is for Middle East, but is the same. As much as it is compliance and certification, you find every region has a specific certification conditions that they want to be met in order to go into their market. So it's another project we are looking at. They have not yet worked out. Okay. The last one, which is the institutional strengthening and support activity project, is a project of Feed the Future USAID, which will support the farmers in terms of digitization. I had mentioned before, earlier this week, we're looking at the feedback from the market in terms of what is going on in the market. We're looking at about 12 value chain, which are the crops commonly grown by the farmers in the country. The full final report is yet to be out, but this project has already started. The ISS activity project has started. These are the activities we are going through now. These are the things we are also planning. And this is generally what Hortifresh is doing. Now, there's one I've not included in this. There's one I've not included in this presentation. Recently, we had a visit to farms with our partner from Israel. They are called Dream Valley. Dream Valley are known as an agricultural company with a product called Freedom Technology. This technology mainly is for dealing with the fruit flies in mangoes, avocados, and many other value chains. And when we're having a visit in the field, one of the farms we visit is Budakiro Eco Farm, and we realized in that farm there were fruit flies. I was surprised. And the crop which was in the field was avocado, has avocado. The farm is in a very good place, very nice place next to Lake Victoria. In 20 acres, we realized the farm was operating on loss. One, because first, the production volumes were low. They're producing like 4 tons. 4 tons in, like they harvest 4 tons every season. But in those 4 tons they harvest, they have 2 big problems in terms of, first, they have fruit fly, which is taking like 20% of the produce. 50% also goes away because of FCM, false codling moth. Plus other field management practices, which must have not made them meet the exact yield of Hass avocado. We also visited Delight Farm in Noya, which is sitting in 2,000 acres of land, growing apple, mangoes, and Tommy Atkin, plus other varieties of guavas and others which are mixed in. Generally, what I can say is that the market demand that came with these people is a lot. In a basic conversation we're having, because they are operating, they take produce also from 22 other countries. And what they bring is A to Z support in terms of the business. And they do business by going to the field. They show you how this product is used, and then they buy from you, because when they use the product, you find that your production increased by more than 80%. They have tested it in Senegal, in Ghana, in Ethiopia, in Israel, and even India. And in this work they do, you realize they come with the market. They were talking of 27 containers every week, something that Ugandan market cannot meet, but they're willing to come on board and help in supporting the farmers. And this is something that Hortifresh is very proud to always say to Ugandan farmers or stakeholders, to know that the effort we are putting in is, I can say, is an energy to people who are in this production line in terms of business, people who are doing fresh fruits and vegetables, and we want energy the same from the rest of the people, because we see a brighter future for the sector. But then to reach at the end of the tunnel, we need to all put in our energy so that we realize a sector that produces safe and quality fresh fruits and vegetables that can meet the market demand. Uganda pineapple is one of the best varieties of pineapple, but then outside there is not known. There are good stories and examples of the effort that government is trying to promote the export of fresh fruits and vegetables. Best example is Pasait. Pasait one time said they came with a demand from the market, and when that request came, it was not met because of the low volumes. Our volumes cannot meet the demand. And once you sign a contract out there to export, they know, so they expect their produce to be delivered, whether in which number of containers, they have to be delivered every time. The other thing I need to just highlight is in the reasons that we had before, but I had not put so much emphasis. The packaging is one big problem that we have in the sector, and Hortifresh is working hard to make sure this issue is addressed. We have partners who have made samples on how they can make strong containers using foldable plastics, which can be joined to just make it a box. The boxes we use here are not meeting the market demand, and is one of the challenges also which make our produce not to reach the destination in the right quality and in the right integrity of strength. Up to this juncture, that is what I have for you. In case of what is not clear, I can still put back the slide so that you can all have a look again. Thank you.
Yeah. Carry on, Frederick.
Yeah. So that's what we had for you. But also to add, when we talk of TMA, we talk of Hotmap, we talk of Contra Union. He did not explain anything about Contra Union. Contra Union is a certifying body. It's a global gap certifying body, and they are our partners. And currently, we are eyeing for certifying at least 15 export companies. But these exporting companies, they will be also funded to assist their outgrowers, at least 15, at most 15 of them, to be certified global gap. So we hope in the near future this is going to expand, and at least I reached out to some few farmers who already picked interest, and that they got that, they already registered. I think now we are closed Garang, but hopefully we are going to increase this because it is a funded project by Trademark Africa and Hotmap. So it is also another value there.
It's good you have reminded me on that, Frederick.
Yes.
Members, Control Union, as he has mentioned, is the body in Uganda and is a worldwide well-known certification body for Global Gap. In Uganda, there's one European Union accredited lab also, which is CHEMIFA. So we have held a conversation. I mentioned before, I'm in project development office. That's where I work. And in all these projects that I was highlighting that are likely to come up, there's part of certification which always come up. And then when you look at CHEMIFA, many farmers have complained that CHEMIFA is expensive. So we are taking it to address that issue of it being expensive. Previously, a sample test was at 600,000. We are talking with CHEMIFA now to cut it down to 300, especially when we have these projects starting, because we don't want them to get out of the business also. So we are saying we shall have farmers through the certification process. An exporter will have like 15 farmers registered under him, and they get Global Gap certification. And when they are certified, which means they have to produce the produce which are going through Center of Excellence and then to the market, which is in export. So Control Union, CHEMIFA, and Hortifresh have an agreement in place to address this issue of prices and Global Gap certification. Now, what is the project bringing, which is going to help the farmers, or let's say the exporters? The cost of export will be reduced by 50%. This is something we are working on, and I believe they will come before next year when this project starts. So we're expecting these projects to start. We are in due diligence process now. TMA has been, Trademark Africa due diligence has gone through, but then they keep on sending, we need this added, we need this added, we need this added. And that's why you see even today, Fred was in a meeting, Huntington and so many other people that could not make them to be in this part of the meeting. These projects are going to help support the HORTIMAP, which is a horticulture market acceleration program, has piqued an interest after seeing that Trademark Africa said they will support 10 exporters to be Global Gap certified. EU is also going to support 10 to be Global Gap certified. So HORTIMAP has intervened to also support 5. So everyone wants to have at least a good story in this and be part of a big organization that have supported in improving or improving actually the fresh fruits and vegetable sector. Now this 25, Minister of Agriculture now is doing coding of farmers. They have been moving in the field to do traceability coding. There are people who may not meet the status to be coded. That will be, let's say, on the left-hand side. And then the people who will meet that and working with export farmers are likely to go for that certification. Since it is an expensive process, we're looking at people who have already started that conversation with Control Union. And we have started. And then those who don't meet the status will have to go through the process, which bring in part of trainings to support this so that they make it also and also be Global Gap certified. By the year 2026, if we manage to register this 25 and be Global Gap certified, it will be a very big improvement in fresh fruits and vegetable subsector of Uganda, because we are now at less than 5. We need Uganda produce to reach the right market. Our exporters are selling now at ethnic market, where they sell maybe to a friend or a relative in markets like, let's say, Owino market. They don't reach the supermarkets where these rigorous conditions are put so that you also meet them. Some of these supermarket buyers even come down to Uganda to see where you are producing. So this is what we are trying to do. Global Gap is the minimal level. I know one of our members called Timer. Timer have Global Gap, and they also have fair trade. In all that is a lot of money for someone to do it alone. So that's why Hortifresh has come up with this project that will make at least the sector to be supported. So basically, that is what Control Union, Chemifa, and Hortifresh are working on to support this project. I believe this is enough. Let's give more time now for you to react to what has been presented, ask questions, and we give you feedback on what you need to know further. And I believe with what we have given, it will help you in your business decisions that you are supposed to make to position yourself in the market, either regionally or internationally. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, our dear friends, colleagues, Frederick and Peter. Yeah, thank you for the comprehensive description of Hortifresh and what it is doing. Mr. Vice Chair, I don't know if you are in or I proceed. So we have listened in very well about what Hortifresh is doing and the potentials that they are in the horticultural industry in Uganda, and what you're doing actually to position Uganda to take advantage. So I have some comments or questions. So yeah, we recognize that the number of GAP certified farms as in FIRM are few. When you mention less than 5, it actually sounds small. But in the broader understanding, I think these are conglomerates, so maybe that's not a good word. They are groups of actors who, so when we say one certificate, 2, 3, 4, 5, but actually each of them is representing a group or many people below it. So you will clarify on that. But it was interesting to hear that I think 3 are from Hortifresh, either 2 or 3, which is a big number. Okay, so that's one. The other one is interesting to know that the fees are charged per value chain, and therefore it actually sounds helpful if people are organized into groups. Well, for us, we're actually a union of over 400 members. And if we are coming to you, I think we shall come as a union. So I wanted to know whether that means we shall be having one certificate, or do we have to come in as regions? Because I have a related question later on this. Now, you mentioned 8 projects, so I will expand on that. Maybe I should do that immediately. So there is this Chemifa charging 600,000 per sample, and you say that sample cost is going to be lowered. So my question is, how does it work with produce being supplied from all over the place? Like our union will be getting fruits from the whole country. Can we hold one certificate? Does it mean we walk to Chemifa with one sample representing the whole country? Okay. Or is the understanding that once we have our internal mechanism proper, then every region doesn't have to be represented in this kind of sampling or something? Just some clarification on what does it mean for an organization to be certified and yet it is buying from all over. Isn't there room for the bad fruit escaping, and then probably distorting the market? I'm not saying that we might be coming with that, but I'm just trying to understand the dynamic. You have already warned us that one of our stars is actually affected. I was shocked by that revelation, because yeah, I was shocked about the particular, because we have been following their story. It is you say one of the best stories you hear, but when you mention, oh, they are 20% of their fruit is compromised, I obviously personally are in production. I've been having the FCM and even others, so I don't know how, but I've not sold to exporters yet. I'm selling to oil extractors. So I did really quantify the percentage that would go. But anyway, the issue is on that, it is worrying that we have these pests.
For sure. It's a big worry.
And so I think we are going to be very interested, maybe even before we become members, formally, we are going to be interested in this technology, this Israeli technology you're talking about. Is it already commercially available? Or we can only talk about it after we become members? I think it's going to be exciting to members to hear about this. Can I stop there, or I give all and then you come in once?
I've seen Godfrey has also raised his hand.
So what do you do?
Let's conclude for doctor, then we
Okay.
can go to another participant.
Okay, got it.
Okay. I think
Okay.
will be you
I will
last
do one
question,
more.
we answer, another one ask, we answer.
Okay. I will just give you one last one.
Yes.
Okay, actually there are two. There was this passage. I wanted to know, how are they supporting, and are you affiliated to them? And then the last bit is, who are the members of Hortifresh? What are the numbers like? Okay. I think maybe either you mentioned or it was not clear. Thank you very much. I will hand over back to you. Maybe to first respond, then VC, you will just come in. I may not invite you formally, since you are the boss. Thank you.
Okay.
Can I come in?
Okay, you come in, Frederick, as I also come in.
So the very first question, just in case I'm not clear, you can come in. You talked about is it possible for farmers to be certified as a union? This is very possible. Yeah, they will use a square root. They use a square root to certify a group. For example, if you are 100 farmers. Now, okay, let's say you are 400 farmers. Now, what will happen is they will get the square root of that 400. And that is the ones that they will use as a sample. So that sample, after getting to know what they are doing at their farm and recommending what you are doing, then the report, that template of the report, it is what will be used on all the other farmers. For example, the recommendations, which will be recommended, it will be the template which will be used by all the 400 farmers. So it is very possible for you to be certified as a union, certified a global gap. So let's do some calculations here. If it is the square root of 400
is 20.
Now they will take that sample, that 20. That is what they will use.
That is expensive.
Now they will produce. They will produce that. They will give you recommendations, and all you will use the same template, all of you. So in case of any outliers, someone used this, someone used this, you should be accountable as you, the union leaders, to know what is happening in all these farmers. If any farmer uses something contrary to what was recommended, then that will be a problem. Because on export, on export, these produce or these avocados will be tested. That's why Chemifa comes in. Chemifa is a lab. They test for MRLs, they test for pests, they test for contaminants in fruits and vegetables. They do also other tests, DNA and all those. But for us, FFV, we are interested in chemical residues, those MRLs, then pests and all that. So those samples will be sent to Chemifa. Chemifa does their test and will receive the reports. Still, these samples will be picked randomly. So it's not that this particular farm is doing something right, so the other one may be not doing something right. So the samples will be picked randomly from all your consignments. That's why we emphasize that all your farmers, all AvoCoop farmers, have to be traced, have to be known where they are operating from, because where we are going now, avocado is becoming a new coffee for our economy. You see,
The
we can
green
even
gold.
perform more better than Kenya. Garang, you want to say something?
I was saying is the green goal. Now, when you are doing numbers, I need to make it as practical as it can be. Members, I hope you are getting me. I need to break down the numbers that Frederick was talking about. First of all, if they do the square root of the number of farmers you have, and it happened to be 20, and it happened to be 20, what Global Gap does, when they send an auditor, the auditor moves from farm to farm, that is 1 day per farm. An auditor is paid about $600. So if it is 20, that is 20 days. Times $600, that is already a lot of money. And then in each farm is picking 3 samples. 1 is the soil. 2, they make a composite sample. Composite sample is you select many samples and then mix. You select many samples of the soil in the farm and then mix to make a composite sample. Now, the composite sample of the soil, the water sample for water analysis, and some parts of plants for MRLs, which is MRL analysis. These 3 samples times the number of farms, which means it is 20 farms times 3 samples times the amount per sample for testing. If you do 20 times 3 times 300, that is nearly, or let's say 18 million. So samples alone is a big. But the other thing is Global Gaps generally 70% documentation or certification. Once those samples are done and you go through, you do renewals. It is renewals which is done every year, but it opens for you a wide passage. So I think that part of Global Gap and the breakdown is answered. Now, the same on Global Gap, there are those who are having like a single farm. Then there are those having multi-site, which is for the cooperative, which has been answered. And the cost varies from groups to single. A single farm is cheaper because an auditor will be there only for 1 day. You get it. Many farms mean auditor will move from farm to farm in many days, which also add to the cost. That is on the certification. Frederick, you go ahead with the rest of the questions before I come for these other questions.
Yeah, now the importance of Global Gap, you people, or farmers. Global Gap, you are buying market. It is market you are buying. It is not whatever certification you get. Wherever you see someone is having Global Gap, is having fair trade, is having Demeter, there are a lot of certifications there. And every certification has its own time it takes. You may find that organic may take maybe 1 year or 2 years before you get certified. You may find fair trade, it is having its own list and requirements. But each ladder you take, each certification you take, it is the money you will get. And what does that mean? It is your revenue. So the numbers you are hearing here, the cost, for example, if it is a $600 per farm, $600 per farm, in these projects, the TMA, Control Union, and Hotmap, these costs are subsidized. And I'm telling you, one of our focus crops that now we are looking at, and we want really people to get as close to us as possible, is the Hass avocado. Because a lot of farmers are ending up selling their avocados to oil. Oil a kilogram is 800 or even less. And that means, but why is this happening? It's because of the pest. It is because of maybe the market is not available. As Hortifresh, we are bringing you a pool of market. A lot now, each and every exporter, at least they would love to venture into us. But what is happening is they reach to us and we have nowhere to refer them to. And when we get them, You may be knowing maybe 20 or 30 farmers, but all of these people, they don't have the volumes, either because of the pest, either because of the disease, either because of poor management and the quality is poor because of sizes and dry matter, all those things. And just like that, the deal goes unattended too. So we have a pool of all these exporters. Now we are having the bigger one, the big exporter. Everyone is interested in Hass. Everyone is singing Hass. But we don't have the capacity to reach into AvoCoop or even any other group of farmers. So AvoCoop, being the pioneer in getting interested in this organization or platform, we promise to deliver to you, these customers. So then the other thing you said, the one certificate, I answered it. It is very possible for a union to get one certificate. That is very possible. But also the management has to be so far high. The management, so that that certificate can be revoked, by the way, in case you don't manage or you don't adhere to the conditions, it can be revoked. Then how does Chemifa do the sampling? Yeah, as you have said, after getting these samples from your farms by the auditor from Control Union, these samples are taken to Chemifa for testing, and after that, the auditor will recommend, or Control Union will recommend management practices on how to move on. Then another one you talked about Israeli technology being available. Yeah, we are working on importing this technology, and preferably we will not be providing it on a large scale in the market, like open market. No, we are going to be working with just selected few farmers, and these technologies, it happens to be specific. It is for fruit fly majorly, and it has the capacity to eradicate fruit flies from our selected site to up to 99%. How it works, it deals with the female fruit flies. It is what it deals with. And when you deal with the females, of course, the reproduction is stopped. So we are working on importation of that technology. But of course, we'll need sites, regions, zones where it will be applied. So you people coming on board, you will be the first beneficiaries. The cost is a bit higher, but when you compare to our usual cost we incur in buying the fruit flies, in buying the FCM traps, the delta traps, it is almost the same per season. It is almost the same per season, per acre or hectare. So still, we hope to have more programs and discussions on how it can be subsidized. But all this should come from the farmers' side, not we as Hortifresh. So when you come, you join us, we will join our voices together, and then we amplify our voices so that it can be heard by the donors. We have a lot of donors out there, and they are willing to support farmers. They are willing to support active value chains like the Hass avocado or avocado value chain. So, and unfortunately, this Dream Valley technology is majorly, the target is for fruit fly, but still we want to bring in the FCM technology, which may be offered maybe by another company, which is okay. So, but we need you to be part of us. We cannot do this without you. It is a win-win situation for all of us. So you asked about also our relationship with the Pasaid. Pasaid is we know the talks that goes around Pasaid, a lot of money being misused, or maybe all those talks. But for us, we look at the good side of the story. As long as they are supporting us, you see, Pasaid now helped us in setting up the Center of Excellence. Center of Excellence here, I mean, there is a big pack house that is now under construction and soon is going to be commissioned, and will be handling a lot of volumes of fruits and vegetable exports. At least at subsidized cost. for farmers, for
is a
exporters?
one-stop center. Sorry to
Yeah.
interrupt, Frederick.
Yeah, you
Center of
can come in.
Excellence is a one-stop center where you'll go, not free for money, but at a subsidized price for the members of Hortifresh. Because in Center of Excellence, you'll have business development services, you'll have the normal pack house services, you'll have a training center also hosted there. I was in a meeting today about Hortifresh Skills Center. It's going to be launched very soon. And talking of PASAID, of course, is a government entity, Presidential Advisory Committee on Export and Industrial Development. Now, what PASAID has done is that they have trade representatives in about 7 countries. One, of course, is Serbia, which we have seen as a shop, like a center for coffee, for Ugandan products. And then they also have trade representative in Congo, which we met last year. They met with us here last year in October, and so many other places. PASAID is doing benchmarking on 13 sectors, is targeting 13 sectors, of which one of them is fresh fruits and vegetables. And that's what brings them closer to Hortifresh. Just because they are doing, they're starting with fresh fruits and vegetables, that's what you have heard from Frederick on the issue of Center of Excellence. They put a word out for us to be helped with the issue of Center of Excellence. But in terms of any other help, maybe we shall get in the future, but nothing yet has come from PASAID. But they're helping so that we make sure there's export, which is also what they want. So our success is likely to count as their success. Now, there's what is called Uganda Connect, which is a brand, a fresh fruits, brand of Uganda product. And Hortifresh is also looking forward to also establishing a brand for the sector. But for now, everything that goes out is likely to go in the name of Uganda Connect, which is a brand of Uganda. When you are selling outside there, you are selling as Uganda. When your produce or your consignment is intercepted because of maybe fruit fly egg or fruit fly wing in the produce or rotten whatever in your consignment, it will come in the name of the country. So the target, the government wants horticulture sector to get at least 1 billion. Coffee is already in 1 billion, but government want the horticulture sector to export 1 billion worth of product, which is a big challenge. We are now standing at around 250. But we believe as all the people come together and the sector gets streamlined and organized further, that figure can be achieved. Uganda has 80% of the land is arable, which is not yet cultivated, but we are going there. That is a question on PASAID. And that is how we are related. Now, the members of Hortifresh, Donald asked, who are the members of Hortifresh? The members of Hortifresh are exporters, are farmers who are producers, also are service providers, including the spray service or the input sellers or the consultants, companies that give service to the sector to make sure we produce good quality that goes to the market. Those are the members. If in terms of names, we have like 229. I cannot give the whole list in my mind, but it's important for you to know we have some of the big members or some of the big exporting companies who are members of Hortifresh. Now, the other thing is, you must have seen in my presentation, Hortifresh became the apex body of fresh fruits and vegetables in 2021. What it means is that for anyone to export fresh fruits and vegetables now, you join the apex body, you get a certificate from Hortifresh. This certificate is what you take to to Ministry of Trade and the Ministry of Agriculture for them to know that yes, you have been checked and clarified and now a member of AFEX body for Hortifresh. There was a question on Budikiro Farm. It was Donald who asked. Donald, Budikiro Farm is looking good. They have like 70 acres, but we went to 20 acres. And in the farm we went to, and I think even Eri himself, as mentioned the other time in the meeting, Frederick, there was a meeting we had here in the office with the members. And he agreed with our findings there. FC, false codling moth is very rampant, is a huge problem there. And Frederick is here. Frederick even found it. We saw it, like we saw it there. And then we found the traps, the fruit flies. And when we asked the manager on site and the people in the farm that day, we were asking questions of numbers. If you have 100 fruit, how many fruit go bad or are not sold or not bought by exporters because of false codling moth? And the guy says 50. Then we say, okay, that is out of 100 fruits. Out of fruit fly, the guy says 20. That's how we came with those numbers. And the farm is okay. But then for farm to be very okay, you need to make profit. So they are still working hard to make sure they break even and make money from that farm. It is a big farm. Now, we realize they're also spending money. Like, I think per acre was like 600,000 every season to buy traps or invest in plant protection or crop protection product. That is how bad things are on ground now. Which other question have I forgotten? Donald? Hello?
It's okay. Thank you so much. I think let the other members come in. It will become more clear even. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Vice Chair, over to you.
Yes, his hand has been up. That is Godfrey, right?
Yes.
Yes, I think, thank you very much. I think, Secretary, you asked most of the questions I wanted to ask, but for me, I only wanted to find out the character of Hortifresh. Is it a company? Is it an NGO? Who are the shareholders? Something like that. Something a little bit more about that.
Okay, Hortifresh is not a company. Okay, it's a company limited by grantee, which means is a not-for-profit company. Hortifresh was formed, I think, in my introduction before, was registered in 2019. Then in 2021, 5 companies made a declaration, the one we call Kabira declaration, where they came together to make Hortifresh. So Hortifresh is not for individual. Our interest is for the sector. We are not for profit making. That is what Hortifresh is.
Maybe something to add there. So when initially before 2016, we were doing exports, but by the end of 2015 there, our exports, you see, EU is very much more interested in our exports because they are unique. Our hot pepper in the EU is Ugandan hot pepper. You cannot, when you mix it with others, people will know because of the distinctive taste. It is not like in coffee where our coffee is used to blend other coffees and still the price will be high there. Our hot pepper is different. And it is so important to note also that EU offers market to our produce here. 70% of our fruits and vegetables that we grow from Uganda. or that are exported from Uganda, 70% of it ends up in the EU. So EU was like, Uganda was performing, has the capacity to perform, not was performing, but has the capacity to perform, but it's being disturbed by issues of quality, issues of pest, issues of uncoordinated people. We don't know you. We lack your authenticity in our market of the EU. So they were like, if we just look on, we may end up losing a food basket like Uganda. So they came out and they came to Uganda. They did their surveys. They asked for permission to do their surveys. After the surveys, they did a report and they were like, no, what we've realized is that the industry or the sector of fruits and vegetables is overcrowded by a lot of people. And everyone has their own interests. So we cannot, one of the issues that is affecting the sector is uncoordinated sector players. So in the recommendation, they were like, okay, now we need one apex body for fruits and vegetables. Initially, it was like every exporter would have their own association. So that disorganization and uncoordination, it brought issues. So they were like, what we recommend is, and they have anyway the moral authority to do so because they are providing us market, over 70% of our market for fruits and vegetables being exported out of Uganda is the EU. So it is a good market. However much we have the Middle East, the USA, our issues through the AGOA, we are not yet back. Middle East, not yet. They don't give us much more money as does the EU. So they have the moral authority, I would say, to dictate what they want. And since they are taking the largest market, they are providing the largest market, so we have to follow in. So that's how Hortifresh was born. All these people, the exporters who had the small associations came together and they agreed to form Hortifresh. That's how Hortifresh is born. Thank you. Hello?
Yes. Yeah, thank you very much for that. I think that is, it's clear. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Any more questions? Mr. Chairperson, we've not heard from you. You can have a word, maybe.
Yes, he has raised his hand.
Okay. Can speak up. You can unmute, Peter.
Hello, members. Thank you very much. The team from Hortifresh, Peter and Frederick. And I also say thank you to our Secretary Donald and Godfrey for standing in. I'm sorry, I should have been with you from the word go, but I had a land matter that has been protracted, but I'm glad to report that by the end of around 7:40, we were able to solve it. And I brought a surveyor from Kampala, so I could not abandon. So I'm sorry about that. But I'm glad that we had a presentation from Peter and Frederick, very knowledgeable, and I think they have taken us through a lot of new information that we need to internalize and take action. We need to take action. Why? It depends on members. It depends on where we want to play from. Do we want to play from the Premiership or
Championship?
Championship level, or we want to be backdoor, the other lesser cups. So it depends on where we want to be. Not now. It may not be now, but it may be in 3 years' time. And in 3 years' time, to show organization, to show people who are focused, we begin now and take the journey. As we have been taken through, you can't enter EU, I get it, without Hortifresh certification. And by working with Hortifresh, the way we have been taken through, there are many doors, many opportunities. And it's not that the opportunities will come to us. No. When the door open, when the door, there's potential for the door to open for you, you knock and they open for you. Knocking means you feel you are fit to participate, to partake in the meal that is taking place in the home, in the house. So you knock and you are opened for. This is where Hortifresh comes in. And the good thing, questions have been asked and questions have been answered. I must apologize, and I've said this again. I want to say it on this forum, in this meeting, that we were taken through, me and Susan, in much of what has been presented, though this time it has been even more comprehensive. But when we came to sell the idea, it was like we thought that members knew something about Hortifresh, but when it was not the case. So it's good we have the information, and I don't know whether Frederick and Peter have anything more to add on what they have said. For me, I appreciate, and since questions have been asked, maybe we can allow them to take their leave, and then we make the final deliberation. But I appreciate members who have been on the forum. I must say, members, I even took effort to remind members of this meeting from around 2 p.m. I try to remind members. So the beautiful thing is that we have been able to get the quorum, but we'll keep engaging such that we have greater buy-in. So thank you so much. Thank you, Peter. And send our regards to Mr. Zake for sparing you over this
Before
weekend.
you conclude, let me say something.
Yes, maybe you should be watching soccer or something, but you are here with us. We do.
I'm a Man United fan. Man U has won today.
Thank you.
Let me say
Thank
something
you.
before you conclude. Hello?
Yes, please. Go ahead.
Okay, I was the one who was coordinating the meeting with you. I think it was you when I WhatsApp you in the morning.
Yes.
Yes, and that's why I put my video on so that you see me. Maybe we must have not met because when the Israelis were in the country, I was the one coordinating their visit. So we went with Frederick, and I remain in Gulu. My family is in Gulu. Now, what I want to say is that the best thing I can say is we need people like AvoCoop. It is great to have members with energy, with interest vested for bigger goal. That's why it is a cooperative, which means you have many farmers. I don't know how many farmers your cooperative have now. Hello?
About 500,
400.
400, 500.
Very good. Very good. You mentioned before you are selling locally, of which much of what you are selling is being bought at 800. Avocado for export now is 3,500 or 3,000 there. If you produce the right quality that exporters buy from you. In 500, it cannot all be bad that you only sell locally for oil only. I believe there's some good quality that you already have now that if you join Hortifresh or when you join Hortifresh, you can go straight to export. So I would advise you need to start, pursue, come to Hortifresh office, get more information from the full department of compliance and membership, and learn more about Hortifresh. Go to Hortifresh website, see what is new. Call, our numbers are always open. I've shared my number today with Stephen. I'll share my number again I can share in the chat so that you can all get it. And this is a partnership we are looking forward to. I mentioned before about having associate members. Associate members or organized bodies, if like you and you want to do your own maybe project somewhere. We also have business development services that we can help you as our member. Whether it's a project you want to do as AvoCoop with Hortifresh, it can still come out. You can just tell us we need to partner and we do a project like this. And then we take it to our project development office, of which I'm one of the guys. And we come up with a good project that we can do with AvoCoop, targeting strictly avocado farmers or the 500 members. That is my number and that is my office email. And we are willing to receive you as Hortifresh members.
Maybe also I can do 1 minute close.
I'm adding Ganirwa Gmail. Did I write it well? Yes. Frederick, I've added your email there. They will see. Thank you. I'm happy for today's meeting. I've seen Mirema has raised the hand and then remove it again.
Yeah, maybe I can have a 1 minute close as well.
Mirembe Georgina, I saw raising the hand and remove. Okay, thank you, Chairman. It has been good. And we are willing to hear more from you, even after this meeting, a call or something. Now for cooperatives, I think it's something I don't know whether you were informed by Fred. Cooperative join Hortifresh by paying 2 million, and then you renew every year 1 million. That is the fee for joining Hortifresh. For more further information and engagement, if you want to come to Hortifresh office, please come. The office is open. This is for the sector. Yes, Frederick.
So maybe I can add something.
Yes.
Yes, go ahead.
Garang, I request you to bring out the slide for value proposition just there. I'm going to take 1 or 2 minutes, then I close up. Garang? Yes, Garang?
Yes.
The slide for value proposition, just bring out that, specifically that one.
Okay.
So, as it prepares, one of the core values you will get from Hortifresh is the market. And I'm telling you, the market is there. But there is this gap between us, which is a link between the farmers and the market. We have this whole pool of exporters. They are all interested in buying quality avocado. Yes, now you can make it full screen. So that we can just go through it. So
okay.
Market is number one. Market is number one as to why farmers do the things they do. They are eyeing for the market. We have the market.
Are you guys
but what has been lacking? Yeah, I can see. Market is what has been lacking. But it's because the farmer does not know where it is. And if he knows, maybe the quality is a problem. Maybe the volumes is a problem. Now, when you come up as a cooperative, as a union, all this information will be spread to you. Someone will be able to say, I want avocado. And all this information will come to you, the board, and you'll be able to communicate to your members. Just as easy as that. And you will be able to get all these orders right to you, to the right people. Then when we talk about market information, I mean, what prices are trending at a particular season, at a particular time, that information, and what avocado variety is working in which market, and what dry matter content is favorable, desirable in a particular market. Some of us, we don't know, most of the farmers, they don't know that avocado is graded in sizes. We have from size, I think size 12, if not 8, to about 24. Most of those sizes, farmers need to know. They need to know the most desirable dry matter content. And they need to know when is the dry matter content, in which period of the year is the right dry matter content most desirable, and that commands the price. They need to know how irrigation is done depending on the type of soil the farmer is having at the farm. All that information has to be taught to you. We were told house avocado needs water, but does not need a lot of it. Now that is dependent on the type of soil you are having. Yeah, the percentage of clay, all that information, we cannot just throw it to air. We have to throw it, we have to bring it to you people. Then lobbying and advocacy. For example, now, one of the baby steps we've taken is at least pulling this global certification nearer to the farmer, that farmers will be able to access it at a reduced cost. That's advocacy. But also there are other issues in a packaging, issues of bringing like subsidizing costs for dry matter testers. When we talk of importing this good technology from Israel, that's advocacy. We need to talk about the taxes imposed on these things so that they are accessed by the farmer. The subsidies that we target to enable the farmers be able to access these inputs at a reduced cost. All that is advocacy. Then when we talk about access to business and financial solutions, yeah, this one, we are also working on it. Then quality assurance and standards, that's the compliance we talk about. The testing, the lab testings, that we want the cost even to be lower so that farmers can easily test their produce, their samples at a lesser cost. I think that then membership trainings, how all these things can be grabbed by the youth farmers. That is the memberships and training and capacity building. So thank you for listening. Thank you for organizing this. Hope we've been comprehensive enough. Chairman, thank you for organizing and mobilizing the farmer, the AvoCoop members and the board. Thank you really. Bye-bye for now.
Thank you,
Chairman,
and have a good time until we meet again.
Okay.
Okay.
If you're going to have your minutes,
Sir, thank you.
you can copy us if you can share.
Peter, we can maybe, but ideally these are our members' minutes. But
it's okay. It's okay.
We can share the link to the recording.
Okay.
Yeah, you can just send us the recording. Yeah, just that.
Okay. Okay.
I hope you guys have got my email, my number.
Yes, please.
Okay. There's a question there. Do you work with the MAIF to register farmers? We register our members, not all the farmers. We know our exporters have farmers that are working with them. And when you are with a certain exporter, we register you. Like when AvoCoop join Hortifresh, we'll have to know their farmers so that if there's any training or audit that MAIF is doing, when they are sending senior agricultural inspectors to the farm for traceability coding, we make sure that at least they reach to your place. We give you that information and make your farmers ready so that they be inspected. What happened with the traceability coding and the inspection is that members who are found to be good. Susan, you mute. Members who are found to be good when there's inspection going on are the ones who are given the traceability code. And when you are given traceability code, is a very big step so that you get that authorization to produce for export. You may not be an exporter yourself because that is another step, but then you'll produce for an exporter, which means an exporter will buy from you. Is another step where you'll have to be given the harvest slip and the rest. That is another thing that the compliance office take you through. When you join the Hortifresh, they will give you all those details on how to do that. And that is where the export itself, how export come to happen. You cannot produce and just export. There is a series of activities or the documentation which is needed. In last year's I just want to let you know, the interception cost, which happened last year, much of it were issues of documentation. Many people don't know which document to do or how to document so that your product reach to the market safely. Sometimes you may do documentation, but not in the right way, and you end up your produce or consignment rejected. And when they are rejected, when you have already gone beyond Uganda, is very expensive because you pay for the interception. You pay for those consignment to be destroyed. That is not good. So that is on the question of member registration. Thank you. Or farmers registration, sorry. Chairman, I think you can now close.
Okay.
Excuse me, Chairman, before you close.
No.
Before
You see what Peter on?
Yes, I thought we were proceeding to pass the resolution as a board after we have.
That's why he has to close and I go.
No, Godfrey. Sorry, Peter.
Yes.
Peter, the plan was you come brief us, then you leave us to continue to deliberate.
Yes, I was answering a question I saw in the comment. So now I can go peacefully.
Okay. Thank you so much. We do appreciate.
Okay, good night. Good night.
Good night.
Okay, bye-bye.
Members, I think you have heard from Godfrey, from Peter and Frederick. So now is the decision points. What do we do? I think that's the question. We're discussing one item, and the issue was, do we know what they are? And two, do we decide to join them or not? And if we do decide to join them, it means finding the funds. How would we do it? Yes, Godfrey.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I've listened very, very carefully to the presentations. And I think it's clear in my mind that if you have to make any headway in the shortest time possible, we don't have any other option at the moment than join them. They seem to be quite an important gateway without necessarily possessing the members. So that means it is a free entry and a free exit, depending on where you want to go with the AvoCoop. And I think something that really touched me was the fact that while many of us are targeting, while many of us seem to be selling to the oil companies, it's not possible that all the fruits on a farm can qualify only for that. So they can actually also support us through the different processes to ensure certain fruits that come out and they're really well can still gain. From the higher prices, from these exporters. I think for me, it's clear in my mind that we need to go with them. Then we will see as we move on. Of course, we'll be evaluating how we progress, how we benefit from whatever service they're providing. Then we can continue making decisions appropriately. So for me, as for the decision to join, I really have no doubt in my mind that they're a right institution that we need to go with. Thank you.
So in principle, you are moving the motion that we join?
I don't know whether a motion or people still have some comments to make before we even move a motion, because this is still a single observation out of the 4 or 5 members who are available here. I think it would be good to listen to a few more.
Okay.
Before we can move the motion. Yes.
Listen from. Susan, you have something to say?
I could come in now. I just can't
Okay.
find my hand. Okay, thank you very much, Mr.
No,
Chair. Yeah, thank you very much for organizing. And I think we have heard clearly from the two gentlemen. I actually asked, I thought I had a few questions, but turns out there are very many. And they really ably responded to these issues. So I principally agree that we have to be members of this, okay? And I think all the members of the union will buy into this. Basically, people are not yet close to trade will have their position, eh? But I think this is a great membership to be in. I'm actually very excited about the prospect of getting support. You know, I've just recognized they are listing a whole 8 projects. Even when they say they are planned, some of them actually already running, okay? So I'm actually seeing that joining these guys could actually give us some room to identify even potential supporters of our own acts. I know there are things which they may not be thinking of at their level, but we want, for example, maybe to run a very good nursery, you know, and you could easily get netting and all that if we want to run such a project. The idea I'm raising here is they're actually the potential supporters of our act. Either the ones they are mentioning or even others. I think this is just a pointer that the AvoCoop could actually run projects for the union and targeting activities that are benefiting farmers, which at our level, I know Hortifresh, their projects are more at the higher level, you know, certification, aggregation, packaging, they're coming up with this pack house and so on. So in principle, I agree. And so we were 5 in this meeting. Walter had joined us, but he left before he said anything. But I think we can still resolve here because the aim was to continue the board meeting, resolve, so that we have the resolution that we can add to the previous minutes. So I second the motion moved by the vice chair that we actually join Hortifresh as Uganda AvoCoop, okay? And then propose that we go ahead and determine the requirements so that we can actually expedite this membership. We have had what it takes. We have only had I think the 2 million membership fee. But I think beyond that, it sounds like, Mr. Chair, that we become members, but then there will be other costs. Yeah. For example, if you want to go certification, then you raise the monies for certification. If you want to do that. So it sounds like all we need is 2 million as a union to become. And then, depending on the next steps, yeah, on how many farmers are ready to want to trade, then the issues of sampling will come in. And I think the costs probably will be determined again at that level, probably at the union level. But thank you very much, Chair. I move.
Thank you, Donald, and thank you, Godfrey. The 2 million, 1 million is the one-off for registration. Then each year, it is 1 million for membership is paid annually. So that's why the beginning is 2, but continuing is 1. That's a clarification. Now, I wanted to propose that the motion to join, if it's okay with members, we put it on the forum as a poll. How do you see?
That is okay, But it would have been nice if the people who attended this meeting had all shown their position. I really wished like Walter had mentioned, because then you go there knowing the minimum. You have some minimum. It would have been nice to know if Walter is in agreement. So then we go there when we are 5.
I can talk to him. I can follow up and talk to him.
Okay.
Such that the resolution now from this meeting is to put up a poll for all members to participate, or those who would wish, and we give a timeline. What I want is involvement. Susan, what do you say?
I don't know, because the chairman, I don't think that that will add much value, simply because I think I've looked at the way our members participate. And for me, what is critical, when a board has a meeting like this, no matter where the decision has to be made, and there was communication.
And there was quorum.
Yeah, there was quorum, particularly at the beginning of a meeting. I think we had a quorum. That's what I was telling you to come in. So for me, that board can go ahead to make a resolution and stand by that resolution. And then in case anybody wants the resolution to be overturned, then the person can only go to the General Assembly to say, no, this we cannot proceed. We shall give our report to the General Assembly that we joined this because of this benefit. So for me, I would like us to resolve that we have decided.
Okay.
And begin to move.
So that
Sorry, I've been muted. I was talking, but I could not be heard. For me, I think since this meeting was to make that resolution, let us, if we all agree that we join, let us make that resolution and we just post the minutes, including the resolution.
Okay.
Because Dr. Muhumuza said that he is unable, but we agree with whatever we take. So he's part of us. That means that we get the quorum for making that resolution.
Okay. I think, Donald, that is it. We don't have a dissenting view. And let's have it as our resolution that we join, and that the board makes effort to find this money. Now, I wanted us to do it this way. The resolution to join is done, but then how do we find the money? Should we apportion it across the 3 unions? I'm asking members.
I think since we are joining as a national union, apportioning it, I think is okay.
Okay, let that be a second resolution. Unless Godfrey and Donald, you have a contrary view. Yes, Godfrey.
Yes, I'm in agreement, because I don't see at the moment any person who can come up and sponsor. But I think we can have that sponsorship at the level of the regions, because we don't have money as a union at the moment. But if somebody comes up, I don't know, by any miracle, says, okay, I'm going to give 1 million, I'm going to give this, that's okay. But if there's nobody, our resolution should be that it's apportioned by region.
By region. And we put it before members to follow up within their region to see to it that we get this money within what period. What we wanted was, if we join, it means November, somewhere around mid-November, I don't know where this people mentioned, they have the General Assembly. Now, if we are registered as a full members before then it means we are attending as the full members.
Yeah, but how does the year run? Is it January to December, or when you begin, that means the year ends? If we join in November, it will end in November. Because you can join now, and then in January, they tell you to pay more money.
Do you allow me to call and ask them?
Yes, please determine that. When is the how
Let
is
me
the year running?
let me call immediately.
But as chairman is calling, do we lose something by starting the collections? If the year is immediate, we join. If it is in January, we shall have our money. You know, now that we have just been discussing this, it could work well if we start mobilizing, though, you know, there are other budget requirements, the office and so on. So the chairman had just mentioned, so I think he wants to run a financial drive, fundraising drive. But well, so in that case, maybe if Hortifresh is January to December, we could first handle the other business. But otherwise, we could as well start the fundraising now for this 2 million. And whenever we have it in November, somewhere, then we are ready for January. We can even pay it now for the period January to December 2025.
Yes.
But probably it will need some time to collect here. So let him find out.
When we were there, we had negotiated with them and they said, okay, we can start by paying, I think, half. Then the other one we can pay after 3 months.
Oh.
Because we had explained to them that currently the union doesn't have any income generating project. And they said, okay, what we can allow is you can pay like 50% initially, then after 3 months, you pay the balance.
Okay, which is okay. So, but for us, when we go to the members, the regions, we want the 2 divided by 3. We want the 700,000. I think that one will be for the board to continue executing with whenever they get a half, we join, isn't it? But we're asking the regions, give us our 700,000, give us our 700,000. But the vice chair, your hand is up. I'm not actually chairing. I was just commenting. The chairman was coming back, so I think you can say what you have to say. We are not actually.
Yes, I've inquired,
okay.
And I've been told that no, when you pay now, the duration is 12 months.
Okay.
Not simply a calendar year.
Okay, that is the fine.
Yes. So, what have we decided on the money? We are apportioning it.
Yeah, we are apportioning it by region. Madam Susan had just mentioned that they are ready to take even a half, but we are saying that let's ask the regions for 700, and if it comes in, whatever part comes in, if we have a half, we can go ahead and deposit. But Mr. Chairman, I have a problem with this paying for any duration, because if they have a financial year, that is in effect the one which is being paid for. You won't have somebody having the membership straddling 2 financial years. So I think they they need to be straight.
The clarification is when you pay now, that payment runs for 12 months. So there is no problem.
Isn't it?
Remember that. Pardon?
I think there is a problem, Mr. Chair.
Where is the problem?
The problem is, ideally, membership is by financial year.
No. It's not by financial year.
So, can they give us that information? That information will be
the one you. Pardon?
Can they give us that information? When does the financial year run?
Donald, you asked me to inquire. And I inquired. And I was told when you pay now, today is being 19th, is it?
Yes.
Then.
Yeah, 19th.
Yes. Your membership is due for renewal October 18th.
Next year. Okay.
Yes.
We have understood.
That's what Okay.
So
So,
then the issue is to go to the regions now to get the 700,000.
Yes, I'm suggesting we should not talk about paying half to the regions.
No, we're asking for the full.
Yeah.
But whenever
Yes.
money comes in, whatever they give us, we can start the process of.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can we give a timeline for the collection of this money?
Let us say by end of December.
Susan, when you say that, and yet you wanted by mid-November to be members, you see, and then we are saying by end of December.
Oh,
yeah, Mr. Chair, actually, when you went away, I just mentioned to members here, not formal discussion, but we're sharing. You had indicated to me about the fundraising for other initiatives, office, and so on. So,
yes,
do we take the 3 to the members because they are all to be contributed to? Or do you want us to start with Hortifresh?
I'm suggesting we begin with Hortifresh. We'll get it out of the way. Then we go into the office.
Okay.
That's what I suggest.
So can we then, as a way forward, draft a letter to the regional chairpersons with this budget?
Yes. Yes, we first have the minutes out, then we generate the letter.
I think that will do.
Then we generate a letter to the chairman. But members, I think we'll have to find a way of members from each region to have one who speaks for the region at the board. Because when we are in the meeting, for example, and there is and Central has not paid, who should give us the official position of Central? I think we need that. We need maybe the regions amongst those who are on the board to identify someone who speaks for the what?
For the region.
For the union. Yeah, the region.
The region, okay.
Because the one here, I'm not authorized to speak on behalf of Central. Neither is Susan. You understand? So in a way, in the letter, we are also asking them to nominate amongst those who are on the board, who is there to speak on behalf of what? The region. I don't know whether you see my point.
Yeah, naturally it would have been the chairpersons, but not all chairpersons actually on the board.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. I was almost saying that there should be a constitutional arrangement on it, but probably no. Because now that is going to cause... yeah, I think let's proceed like that. Probably where
we
there
should
is
have a
person.
Yes, Donald, you continue.
I was hesitating to say that where there is a chairperson, I think they should represent, and then where not, maybe. But let's leave it to the region anyway. Let's
leave it to the region.
Yeah, let's leave it to the regions.
So that's the resolution in this meeting also. That we ask the regions to nominate a member on the board who should communicate on behalf of the what? The region. Issues, official positions, and so on. And being able also to convey back the positions of the board. Is that okay, members?
Yeah, that's very okay. Because
yes,
recently, when we had our regional meeting, we actually had that problem. I was just thinking, and when I was talking to chairman, we were then wondering who among us then will give an update from the national union. I mean, to the members. I think when I just took it upon myself to do it, but there was nothing really very official. I think this is very, very good if that can be streamlined. Because ideally, as you say, they should be the chairpersons, but then let's leave to the region to see whether the chairpersons want to nominate somebody on their behalf, where they are not the ones on the national union, and that can be discussed regional unions, and then they want the whole regional body to select from among these people who should officially represent them or be their or spokesperson, whatever it is.
Yes.
Or messenger.
And Donald, remember, I think we discussed this off the forum, but that same person would be briefing in each of the referring to the scheduled meetings of the board, will be briefing members of the board
on the status of the
about what is taking place in the developments, challenges in the region.
Chairman, I beg to drop off.
Kale, thank you. I think we are done.
To drop. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Susan. And thank you for your vigilance.
Yes.
Yes.
So, Mr. Chair,
I think, yes.
Yeah, I know we want to run, but yeah, I can actually say that in some boards, yesterday I was actually on in a board meeting, but that board is by national. The whole country was split into, I think, 8 regions. So I represent Midwestern. It is the Tornado board of directors. But so in that meeting, one of the things is everybody talks about the status of their sub-region. Somebody from South Central. Now, for us, we are constituted in another way, but we need that voice. So I think it is right and fitting. But otherwise, for federations which are normally region-based, there is a direct representation for each region. But unfortunately, we have 3 levels. If it was 2 levels, it would be easier. But now 3 levels, yes. Let's move that way. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anything else members want to raise? Can you Donald, can you mute that? Okay, members, anything else? Then if there is nothing for further discussion, allow me request Georgina, who has been quiet, to give us a closing prayer. Georgina, over to you.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Let's pray. Loving Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for this discussion. We thank you for all the people who have made it to come to discuss. We surrender our views into your presence so that they may be done well. We surrender our movements, our travels, our minds, our everything, Lord, into your presence. May you guide us through this night as we are going to rest. We pray all this in Jesus' name we pray.
Amen.
Amen. You are the lucky one
to
give blessings at the beginning and the end.
Sure. That's great.
Yeah.
So thank you, members. And Donald, remind us about our next meeting as scheduled, because we need to keep our schedules. So thank you so much and have a good night, members.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Good night, everybody.
Good night too.